What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. This morning we've popped over to our local auction house, Letchworth Motor Auctions, for their summer classic, retro and performance sale. Now, you all know that I'm a lover of a classic Ford, and we've got a Mark III Escort 1600i to look around, a Mark I Fiesta and plenty of other lots. So without further ado, let's take a look around and see what they go for when they go under the hammer. Okay, let's kick this auction video off with this 1981 Mark I Ford Fiesta. Now, this is a 1.1 GL, which has been in its current ownership since 2008. Now, the story goes with this Mark I Fiesta that it's been in storage for 7 years. It was brought out for a brief period in 2021, but then it was put back into the dry storage. The Fiesta has been entered into the auction as the owner had to give up driving recently. Now, the description does say that on the logbook and the HPI check, the Fiesta comes back as being green, but it has had a colour change into this beige. The Fiesta is showing 32,000 miles, but that is not warranted. It could well be 132. Let's have a look in the bay. Now, I would say the rest of the vehicle is in quite presentable condition, but the engine bay really does need a little bit of work. On the inner wings, they've been welded, just like most of the Fiestas have, but yeah, it could really benefit from some paint. As you can see, lower down there, you can see the original green colour coming through. And as we go around to this inner wing, you can see that someone's tacked in a plate there, and quite a lot of the paint is starting to peel off and flake off of the engine bay, so I feel like this could benefit from a nice restoration. The description states that the Fiesta is now running and driving, although it would benefit from a full check over before taking out on the roads. Now, the vehicle is MOT and tax exempt, but yeah, when was the last time you saw a Mark I Fiesta in half genuine condition that isn't completely rusty? I really do think that a couple of weekends work would tidy that up nicely. Anyway, I personally believe that the estimate on this is really reasonable at £2,000 to £4,000. Let's find out what that goes for.
Yes, and that is 50, 900, £900, 950 outside, £1,000 in me, £1,000, £1,400, around to the room, bits on mine, 1450. So go here first in the room, 1450, 1550, 2002, 2200, and 2002 we send away 22 all done, and 2002 all done, and 22.
Now, moving on from the Mark I Fiesta, I'm now looking around something slightly more new, but there's always a reason why I look around a newer vehicle here at the Classic Car Auctions. Now, this is a 1993 Vauxhall Corsa Merit 1.2, and this has got just 31,000 miles on the clocks and has only had one owner from new. Wow, just check out that striking interior pattern, both on the rear seats and the front. It's presented in excellent condition throughout, with valid MOT up until May 2025. I tell you what, I might be looking at this through rose-tinted glasses at the moment, but I can't find an imperfection on the little Corsa. It generally looks like it's just came out of the factory, and it's still featuring some dealer plates, Luton, and yeah, that's not far from here. Both front and rear number plates are matching still. I really am shocked by the condition of the little Corsa. I've just opened the bonnet to reveal the 1.2 litre engine. Now, it does have a service book, and in there is 9 stamps. So yeah, it hasn't had the service every year, but at that mileage, is it really warranted? I'm not sure that I would be getting a car serviced if it's only covered a couple of thousand miles per year. A quick glance underneath the boot mat and you really do get a full understanding of how clean this Corsa really is. The Corsa comes with 2 keys, its current V5, and also all of its MOTs dating back to 1996. And I've had a quick browse on the MOT history on this thing, and it's only failed once, and that was on like headlamp alignment, so yeah, that's crazy. Now, the estimate on this little gem is £2,500 to £3,500.
1700, 1750, 1850, 1850, 19 and 50, 2000 and 50, 2150, 2150, 22, 2250, 23, 2950 on mine, 2950, hands on them, 2950 I said, it's going at 2950.
Next up, I'm looking around what the auction house describes to be possibly one of the best condition Mark III Escort 1600i cabriolets. Now, this one has only had one previous keeper as well. It really is crazy. I'm not quite sure where these auction houses are finding these cars. Now, the Escort 1600i has only covered 34,000 miles, and as I said, one owner from new. Now, this has been used sparingly, only on sunny days and never seen the rain. The description reads that the Escort has only ever been kept in a garage, and one thing that I really like about this, because I'm quite local to the auction, is that it's featuring both of its dealer plates. Now, this was originally came from Elmsley of Enfield, which isn't too far away from here in Letchworth. I really do love a local car and to know about its history. Now, under the bonnet, we've got the CVH 1.6 injection engine. Now, the bay is looking in fair condition, hasn't been cleaned up or anything, but after a while of looking under so many bonnets, you can gauge whether it's a true and honest car. And yeah, I really do believe this is. Both of the front wings are the same. I don't think this has had any paint. It really is a clean car. And of course, we're looking underneath the boot carpet once again, and it just looks in brand new condition with the original alloy still in there. Just look at the paintwork. There's no chips, there's no scratches. It all just looks so mint. If you look around, even just these rear light clusters, look how clean they are. All the gutters, everything is just bang on. Also, one thing that I really like to see is previous signs of wax oil. You know it's been looked after, and well, it's definitely preserved this car. The vendor also told the auction that this is the original roof. This has not been changed or anything. These are so prone to cracking, splitting, and just going a bit horrible down in this section, but this one is nice and tight still. Now, the description does read that the owner of the Mark III Escort 1600i done all the servicing themselves, so there's no service history, unfortunately. But for me personally, I wouldn't be worried about the no service history because it's clear to see this car's been looked after. Now, this has got MOT valid until April 2025, and the estimate here at Letchworth Motor Auctions is £7,000 to £9,000. And as the old saying goes, find another. Let's find out what that goes for.
92 in the room, 92, 94, 96, 96, 98, 10,000, 10,000 value, 10,2. 10-4 million, 10-6, 10-8, 10-8, 11,000, 11,2, 11,2 gifts in the room, 11,2, 11,4 online, 11,600 and on the right of way at 11,600.
Who recognises this interior then? Next up, we're looking around this Mark I Capri. It's a 3000E. Now, these seats definitely aren't genuine, but I think they kind of suit it. The Capri has covered 102,000 miles. Now, the vendor advises that the Capri has gone under a extensive restoration during the last 13 years, and it's got invoices and bills totaling £19,000 since 2008. And the keen eyes would have just noticed that it's got a Cosworth badge on the back, so we better look under the bonnet. Now, the Capri originally had a 3-litre V6 Essex engine, but that has been replaced by this 2.9 24-valve V6 Cosworth engine, which is sitting in there very nicely. I would say, just having a little look around the bay, I think it's been hand painted. It just is a slight different colour to the rest of the Capri, but I mean, it all looks great in there, and that Cosworth engine was certainly adding a few more brake horsepower to this old classic. There's a real big write-up on this. It says that it's also got a newly rebuilt T9 gearbox with quick shift, and it's also got a twin-exit stainless steel exhaust system. Due to the conversion, the brakes and discs and suspension were also changed with solid leaf rear springs, front custom coilovers, LSD, power steering and much more. First registered in 1972, the Capri is now tax and MOT exempt. Now, the estimate at Letchworth Motor Auctions this weekend is £18,000 to £22,000.
Over £10,000 Capri, £10,000, got 10,2 on net, at 10,000 2D. Some idea, everyone else out, originally sold at 10,200.
Okay, next up we've stumbled across this 1986 Mark IV Escort Estate. Now, I have actually seen this before at Anglia car auctions. I do love seeing some of the cars float around the auctions. It's quite interesting. Anyway, I'll let you guys know what it sold for once I've finished looking around it. Now, the main standout point with this Escort estate is the fact that it's only covered just 7,000 miles, and that is warranted. This car just really has not been used at all. It almost belongs in a museum. As you can see, it does still rock its original plastic covers for the two front seats. As you can see, under the bay is very, very presentable. I'd have to say this has had no paint. Both the front wings are genuine and original still. Now under here we've got a 1.6 CVH engine, and it's also accompanied by its automatic gearbox. But yeah, covering just 7,000 miles, I don't even think this has really been ran in yet. Looking around the Escort estate, it really is quite unbelievable that it's got such low mileage and that it's in this great condition. Now there is a bit of history that comes with this. It says that the Escort estate was taxed as disabled until 2008. Then it had its second keeper for just 6 months and then moved on to its third and final keeper. But I just can't believe how clean this is. We've looked around a handful of motors here already and they've just been absolute show winners. Now the Escort is MOT'd and on the road, but it's got a very short ticket. It runs out July 2024, so that's going to be needing a fresh ticket on it soon. Anyway, as for the juicy bit, the estimate is £4,000 to £6,000, and this sold at Anglia Car Auctions at a sale a couple of months back for £5,700, so that is top end of the estimate here. I wonder what that'll go for this weekend.
3,001, 31 bid on this one, 31, 32, 32 I've got, 32, 33 I'm in, 33 bid, 3,500 pounds, 3,600, 36 bid, 37, 37 bid, 37 once, twice all done, last chance at 3,009.
There seems to be always some sort of link between the previous lot I've viewed and the one I'm looking at currently. And with this Mini, this is a automatic, just like the Escort estate we looked around. Anyway, this is a Rover Mini Sprite Auto. It's a 1.3, and I've got to say, from the off, I'm absolutely loving this. From the Union Jack on the roof down to the ultralight alloys, I really do like the look of this. Now this Mini is another low mileage hero, showing just 29,000 miles since 1995. It's just crazy, and as you can tell from the interior, it is looking in outstanding condition. The leather on the seats still looks nice and matte and new, and just for the door cards as well, they are looking great. I did mention about the wheels. Now they are just spot on for me personally, having that grey centre with the chrome dish on the outside. I just think they suit the Mini down to the ground. Having a look under the bonnet, here is the 1.3 engine. It's in fairly decent condition. It hasn't been tidied up half as much as the exterior has. Now I presume this has had a paint job on the exterior and it just looks gleaming. I've also read up and the leather interior isn't original, it's been upgraded. That is updated black leather interior, but just the paintwork has just been done to such high level, it just makes the car. The Mini does come with some early service history which warrants the low mileage, and the MOT is valid until May 2025, so if you purchase this, you could be driving it home today. Anyway, what a cool little thing, and the estimate here at Letchworth Motor Auctions is £8,000 to £11,000.
At 7,300, at 7,300, 7,300 to 7,300 now. At 7,300 pound with it is 73 bid. Short 12 months, 7,300. 73.
Okay, sticking with the Mini theme, I've came across a earlier one in this Austin Mini 95 pickup. This was first registered on the 25th of March 1980. The description reads that the Mini had a full respray back in 2011/2012, and during that time it says that the speedometer was changed. Now during that time it was reading just 73,000 miles, which was believed to be warranted and genuine mileage. Now one thing I've just spotted as I've come to the rear is that Union Jack. You've got to love it, the fact that Minis just slap a Union Jack anywhere they like, and considering this one doesn't have a full roof, why not put it on that boot lid? So the clocks are currently reading 30,000 miles, but we know that is not warranted. Now just to the right of the clocks is a signature from Paddy Hopkirk, and also we've got these seats. I'm not too sure on the history of them, but they've got tiny little badges on the middle. It says seats Paddy Hopkirk, so that's a nice little addition, and I'm sure the Mini lovers will be able to explain a little bit further in the comment section. I've just opened the bonnet to reveal the 1 litre mini engine. Now this is said to be running and driving well, and I've just been reading a bit up on the description. It says that this Mini comes with a heritage certificate confirming the vehicle was built in 1979 but was first registered in 1980. It's great to see such an old Mini pickup here at the sale this weekend, and obviously you can drive it home with you because it's tax and MOT exempt. Anyway, the estimate is £10,000 to £15,000.
Line down, line 2 bid, line 2 o'clock, 9,002 bid, line 4, 9,004. Don't pay, all finished, all done at 9,400. Provisional.
Next up, we're looking around this Sierra Sapphire RS Cosworth, which is a 1989 two-wheel drive variant, and it's got an interesting history with it, which it shows just 2 owners from new and 61,000 miles. Now the description goes on to read that the Sierra RS Cosworth was first registered to Ford Motor Company on the 12th of the 5th, 1989, and according to DVLA records was in their possession until the now deceased owner purchased it in 2013. Now the Ford Motor Company have been contacted and they have no records going back that far, but have issued a letter confirming the build date, and this is on file. So it seems that the time between 1989 and 2013 is somewhat vague. There is reports that the car might have been over to the Channel Islands and Islands, but what we do know is that this has been reshelled to the more desirable 909 Motorsport shell with no sunroof and a relocation fuse box. It's fair to say that the Sierra Cosworth has had a bit of a interesting but vague past. But anyway, let's have a look around it. It's finished in mallard green. It does have a little bit of blistering towards the rear arches, as you can see just up here. The other side is the same as well. Now it's got a couple of door cards missing at the rear, as you can see, but the interior isn't in bad condition. I would say that the seats are quite worn, but it's got a room for improvement, shall we say. Now, I was just having a chat to the guys here at the auction, and they said that the Sierra Cosworth does run and drive, although it's just out of MOT, ran out this year, so hopefully someone can get this re-MOT'd and back on the road. Anyway, the estimate is £20,000 to £25,000, so quite interested to see what this makes.
15,4, 15,6, 15,8, 15,800, 15,800 to bid. Yes and no is away then on commission, 15,800.
Next up, we're looking around this 1972 Volkswagen Beetle 1300, which is showing 95,000 miles and 5 previous keepers. The description states that the Beetle is in good condition inside and out, although it is showing some age-related marks. It does start and drive well. The description also reads that the Beetle has had a good once-over and the all-clear recently, so I'm assuming it's had a good thorough inspection. It also looks like it's got a brand new carb on the top of the engine there, and it's also had a new master cylinder. Well, it doesn't say whether it's a brake or a clutch master cylinder. I was just having a look around the bodywork of the Beetle, and I was going to say it's looking in decent condition, but this lower lip on the driver's side seems to have been damaged, which is a bit of a shame, but I'm sure you can get that repaired. The Beetle is said to come with several previous MOTs, current V5 and 2 keys, and is here at Letchworth Motor Auctions, estimated at £4,000 to £6,000. 3,400, Now I know I'm a little bit biased towards the classic Fords, but I couldn't just walk past this 1966 Mark I Ford Cortina. It's always crazy when you see the original first tax disc in the window, December 66. That's just mental. Anyway, the Cortina has had 4 previous keepers, and it is a 5-door model. These look new. Anyway, the interior Yeah, that looks great. It's got a wooden steering wheel and it just smells like a true classic car in here. You can't beat a Mark 1 Cortina. Bodywork wise, this is looking really presentable. It's nice to see a Cortina that hasn't been made up to look like a Lotus or anything. It just is what it is. This is a 1300 model with the red stripe going down the side of it. I really like this. Anyway, let's have a dive inside the bonnet and see what that's looking like. I've just been reading up a bit on the description of the Cortina, and it says that it's been used sparingly in its current ownership and hasn't been driven in a couple of years. I believe this has come from the same vendor as a Mark 1 Fiesta. Now, I've just been reading up as well, and this used to originally have a 1200cc engine, but it has now got a 1300 pre-crossflow in there, and I'm just really surprised at the state of the bay. I thought it would be a little bit scabby, a little bit rough around the edges, but it's actually in a really presentable and, quite frankly, pretty stunning condition. Anyway, I really like that. It's always great to see a Mark 1 Cortina at these auctions, and the estimate this weekend at Letchworth Motor Auctions is £6,000 to £8,000.
3,060 for Cortina, 3,008 online, 3,008 online this way, 3,008, and 4,000 goes away provisionally if you're sure I'm done at just £4,000. Provisional, so your number there, particularly. Yeah.
I really am quite shocked at the low mileage heroes that we're spotting in this auction. Here we have another one in this 1996 Renault Clio. Now, it's nothing special, it's just a base model, but this is covered just 15,000 miles and that is warranted. Now, it really is incredible to think that in a couple of years, 2026, when this Clio is 30 years old, it would have only averaged 500 miles a year, which is just crazy to think. Like, where has this been hiding? Anyway, the condition of the seats, the door cards, even the headline and the sunroof is just incredible, just like all of the low mileage heroes that we found in this auction so far. Bodywork just looks pretty untouched as well. There's no dings, there's no dents, there's no rust. It's just looking in really tidy and presentable condition. Someone could really take this to the next level, clean it right up, have it detailed. Now, this Clio has had 2 owners from new, and here is the 1.2 litre engine. The description does state that the vehicle spent a few years off the road between 2016 and 2024, but yeah, as you can see, under the bonnet matches the exterior condition as well. With the sale, the Clio also comes with its original bill of sale, handbooks, and 1 service invoice at 2,000 miles and a few other MOTs to verify the genuine low mileage. Anyway, the estimate here at Letchworth Motor Auctions is £2,000 to £3,000.
And 9.5 only, £950, £1,000 online, £1,000 at £1,000 provisionally sold, £1,000 each, finish yours done, last chance senators, £1,350, £1,050 new monthly, submitted at £1,100, online provision.
Well, we certainly looked around a lot of hot hatches already in this video, so why not carry on with this Rover Metro GTA? Now, this was first registered in 1991. I mean, when was the last time you saw a Metro out on the road? Like, you just never see them anymore. The Metro has had 5 former keepers and is showing 57,000 miles on the clocks, which is believed to be genuine but is not warranted. It's described to be in fair condition on the insides and out. I mean, the headlining is a bit mouldy in here. That's definitely going to need a little bit of a scrub up. And this is also a sunroof model. The Metro does have some signs of previous paintwork repairs, but it is running and driving. It's on the road. It's got MOT until April 2025, and I just think this would make a perfect first car for someone that's into like the retro and classic car scene. You could jump in this and really enjoy it for the first couple of years. And here we have the engine bay. This is a 1.4 litre 16 valve, and that is as presentable as any engine bay I've ever seen. It's looking real good condition, no rust, no visible signs of rot. It's in presentable condition, could do with some tidying up, but yeah, I just believe this would make such a good first car for someone. Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, as I've previously mentioned, the Metro is MOT'd and ready to go with an estimate of just £1,500 to £2,500. Let's find out what that's going to make.
At 1650, all done 1650 and 1650 goes away 17 online at 1700 now at 1750. All short done at 1700. Provisional order.
Next up, we're looking around this 1997 Subaru Impreza WRX STI version 3, imported into the UK back in 2007. And since 2007, the Subaru has remained with the same owner. Now, it's recorded 263,000 kilometres, and as you can see, the engine bay is a little bit blinged up. Someone has definitely painted up quite a few parts on here. You can see even the alternator's been painted blue. You've got loads of bits that have been painted, and even if you go over to stuff like the wiper motor here and even the wiper blades just through there. So yeah, probably not everyone's cup of tea, but someone certainly spent quite a lot of time looking after this and tending to the Subaru, and that is of course the 2-litre turbocharged engine. You can always tell when someone's looked after a vehicle by the attention to detail. These wheels are nice and bright and white, and you can see that the barrels of them are just so clean. There's not a speck of dust on them. So someone has clearly cherished and loved this Subaru. The Subaru is said to be in very good condition, both inside and out. It does have a valid MOT up until May 2025. As you can see, all the original STI seats in here still. I think they look really cool. The description does state that the Subaru WRX had an engine failure back in 2015, but it was fully repaired in 2016 and put back on the road. And since then, it's covered just over 1,000 miles. Anyway, the estimate on the Subaru at Letchworth Motor Auctions this weekend is £8,000 to £10,000.
6,040, Retro 6,040, over 6,400, down to 6,400. Provisionally selling at 6,400, all done, all finished at 6,400.
There we have it, guys. That was my walk around of Letchworth Motor Auctions Classic Retro and Performance Sale June 2024. Now, it's been a couple of days after the auction, and I'm very aware that quite a few of the lots were provisional, but quite a lot of them have sold in the meantime. This basically means that the auction house goes back to the vendor and discusses a price that they're happy with, and yeah, basically they go to and from the vendor and the buyer, and they meet in the middle somewhere most of the time. Anyway, talking about provisional bids, the Mark IV Escort estate that I previously saw at Anglia Car Auctions sold, which was really surprising to me. So I've got it here. It sold for £4,350. But at Anglia Car Auctions, a couple of months ago, it sold for £5,724. So that is, well, literally, it's dropped in value over £1,000, which just really boggles me. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Someone's clearly lost a lot of money on that. And yeah, it's sold, but cheaper than at Anglia Car Auctions. Now, as we're still on the topic of provisional bids, another car that sold provisionally, another car that did sell provisional was the Sierra Sapphire Cosworth. I thought this was a cool car, but I don't know, the history was just boggling me. Very vague, and clearly it wasn't popular with the auction house because it remains unsold. A bit of a shame, but I just think that history was a little bit too vague. But as we move away from provisional cars, there was some real great sales, and the first one that I'm going to be talking about is the Mark III Escort 1600i Cabriolet. Now that sold for, I've got it here somewhere, it sold for £12,650 including fees, which is just crazy, but I genuinely think that is worth it. That car was mint. You could tell someone had looked after it, and I'm glad to see it got a really good and solid price. And another car that sold for strong money was that white Corsa B that I looked around. Now that sold for £3,225 including fees. I think that is brilliant. I think that was a great honest car for someone to buy, take out on summer drives, and just keep the mileage nice and low and preserve the value of the car. Now, I won't go on too much in this outro because I know how I can just waffle on and on. I get very, I don't know, carried away and quite drawn into the auctions, but my pick of the auction was the Mark I Ford Fiesta. This was cool. I think it was a great project for someone. It wasn't mint, but seeing as the Fiesta was discontinued just over a year ago now, the final price for it was £2,400. I think that was brilliant. It needed a bit of work under the bonnet, a couple of weekends, and that'll be looking brilliant again. So yeah, that was my pick of the auction. Please do let me know in the comment section below what your pick of the auction was. Now, if you did enjoy looking around this auction video and thought, you know what, I'd like to check that out myself. Well, Letchworth Motor Auctions is open to the public for their classic car sales, and their next one is on the 28th of September. You've got 2 dates there. The following one is on the 30th of November. That will be their winter classic car sale. But yeah, pop along. It's £5 on the door, and yeah, all the team there are really nice and welcoming. If you need anything, get in contact with Adam. He is always happy to help. So yeah, I just really enjoy popping across to that auction because it's so local to me, and they do get quite a few classic, retro and performance cars for their sales. Anyway, that was Letchworth Motor Auctions June Classic Sale. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a like, and if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel to see more. Thank you all for watching, and until the next one, I'll see you guys later.